A warm welcome to all our listeners, wherever you're tuning in from, whether you're on your way home, relaxing after a long day, or just looking for something enlightening, you've come to the right place. This is Mediation Matters with Gabriel Onovo, the show that brings you insightful conversation on resolving conflicts without stress, court delays, or unnecessary drama. I am Gabriel Onovo, a chartered mediator, a conflictologist, and a peace consultant, and a certified negotiator committed to promoting peaceful dispute resolution, access to justice, and conflict transformation through alternative dispute resolution. Now, today's discussion is both crucial and urgent. Gender-based violence, GBV, is a reality affecting many homes, and while litigation is often the first thought, it is not always the best or only option. So how can alternative dispute resolution help in resolving domestic conflict while ensuring justice and victim protection? To help us dissect this issue, I have with me an extraordinary guest, a highly respected authority in criminology, gender studies, and conflict resolution. She is a seasoned academic, a renowned consultant to international organizations, and a dedicated advocate for justice and gender equality. Join me in welcoming Professor Hauwa'u Evelyn Yusuf, Professor of Criminology and Gender Studies, Special Advisor to the Vice-Chancellor on Research Culture at Kaduna State University, CEO of the Center for Study and Resolution of Domestic Violence, National President of the Nigerian Anthropological and Sociological Practitioners Association, Pioneer Director of CASU Consult, Pioneer, Dean of the Faculty of Education at Kaduna State University, IVLP alumni, women and gender advocate, team leader of KSA, CASAS, and consultant to UNICEF, UNFPA, UN Women, and Malaria Consortium. Join me. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Gabriel.
Wow.
And good evening, Kaduna.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to have you, ma, Professor, in the studio. I think my first encounter with you was at a program organized, where we had Kaduna State AIDS Control Agency. That was the facility that was used. Yes, that was the facility that was used. And when you came in, the way the atmosphere changed and people were just talking, greeting you. And when you spoke, I said, okay, no wonder you are a professor with many caps. We so much are delighted to have you with us today, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right. As we delve in order to give our listeners an insight into what we do. So let me just say that this is alternative dispute resolution advocacy that is being championed by GEO and Associate Alternative Dispute Resolution Hub. And our primary focus here is to how to use alternative dispute resolution mechanisms to solve problems outside the conventional and traditional courthouse. Now, Professor, can you help us define gender-based violence and explain its scope within the Nigerian context?
Well, gender-based violence, GBV as popularly known, is any form of violence that is meted on an individual based on that person's gender. You see, I avoided using him or her.
Yes. Because
GBV means any violence that is meted on any human being. Mostly, gender-based violence is wide. And that's why when people just say GBV, and what comes to their mind is just the sexual gender-based, sexual gender-based violence. Sexual gender-based violence is just one aspect of GBV. You have SGBV, that is sexual and gender-based violence, under which you may have intimate partner violence, where you may have rape and all that. That one is sexual. Then you have psychological GBV. You have emotional GBV. You have mental GBV. You have economic GBV. Then you have domestic violence itself.
Wow.
Now, what I have listed here is that you have sexual gender-based violence, which is that one that involves perhaps rape or sexual harassment or sexual assaults. Then I said there is physical GBV, which involves beating or battery or physical harm that is done to an individual because of his gender, whether that person is a male or a female. Then I said there is psychological or emotional violence, the one that is meted to you to make you feel inferior, to make you feel uncomfortable, to make you feel to have low self-esteem. This is also a form of gender-based violence. Then I said domestic violence in the aspect of perhaps a woman being thrown out of her house, or a man being thrown out of his house, or being taken away from your comfort zone, or you have verbal abuse, insults, and all that. Then I said there is also what we call economic GBV, where people are being made to be dependent economically, where you don't have an economic independence, where you, even if the money is yours, somebody is in charge of spending it, or where you are not even allowed to earn a living, even when you have the wherewithal to earn a living. These are several types of GBV.
Wow.
We call them GBV because they are meted on you based on your gender.
Interesting. Wow. Listeners, you will agree with me that we indeed have the professor herself in the house. And while you were explaining the economic gender-based violence, where you said an individual depends on another for financial, would I say?
Economic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think I see that a lot in our society, where women are dependent on men, and probably due to that they want to take advantage.
Well, in most cases, given the peculiarity of our own environment and location, you find out that majority women are dependent on men for their livelihoods. In fact, for the water they will drink, they are dependent on male counterparts, not necessarily a husband. And it is such that a woman cannot take any decision, even when it concerns her health, because they will ask, if you say you want to go to the hospital, the person who takes care of the finances can ask you, and who is going to pay for it if you have to go to the hospital? So the financial dependence is such that it affects almost every facet of your livelihood.
Wow. Interesting. I think this is actually a loaded package. Now, ma'am, what are the major causes of gender-based violence, and why does it persist despite legal framework and interventions?
One is dependence. The fact that I'm dependent on you gives you the opportunity to continue to met on me whatever form of violence you want to. Number two, inferiority or superiority complex. The two can lead to. A man by nature is egoistic, and as such, a man who is financially dependent on his wife may resort to physical violence to prove that he is the man. I mean, because you have money, you don't want to respect me. Okay, I'll show you that I am the man. That is one aspect of why GBV persists, even despite the legal frameworks and the opportunities given. Then ignorance. A lot of people do not even know that they are being violated until it becomes bloody. A lot of people do not know. I mean, some people believe, some people have been brought up, women in particular, have been brought up to believe that the man loves you if he beats you up. And so when he doesn't beat you up, then it means that he doesn't love you, to the extent that a woman goes out of her way to want to be beaten. And then people use culture of stigmatization, culture of silence. All these are causes of the continuous violation of the rights of somebody. I don't want to be stigmatized, so why should I go and tell people that I have been raped? Why should I go and tell people that I have been beaten? So you see somebody being beaten over and over again, and that person remains silent about it. That's the conspiracy of silence. And then a person endorses it, because if she gets to say that she has been beaten and that she wants to leave or she wants out, the first thing that the reaction of at times parents is that, you have to be patient, oh, that is how we grew up, oh, if I behave like you, I wouldn't be with your father today. And so justification of violation is another reason why violation continues unabated.
Wow.
To go through.
Oh, sorry, we have a caller. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Good evening.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Okay.
All right, I think we missed that caller. All right, you can go ahead, Professor.
So like I said, we try to give you the opportunity to express yourself. We call it safe space because whatever you say to us remains with us. And I say we give people the opportunity for ADR. I think in the last 1 month, between January and now, we have referred about 5 or 6 cases to the multi-door court house in Kaduna for ADR, and we have succeeded. I mean, women come to us initially, I want a divorce, and we tell them, look, let us look at this, because divorce itself has a negative impact on society. So we don't encourage it except when it becomes extremely necessary. So we try to make people go through alternative dispute resolution. Like I said, I am also a certified mediator, and I try to utilize my expertise. Now, a lot of people are scared of the shelter because they think that when you come to our shelter, you have to pay. Our shelter is a selfless service to humanity. It is my own way of giving back to the society. I mean, if I have been trained and I am able to rise to the position of a professor within the university, I use my position to bridge the town-gown relationship. So it's my own way of giving back to the society. And so we try to do a lot of mediation work. We work with the multi-door courts in Kaduna. I must tell you that the multi-door courts in Kaduna have been very, very helpful to us at the shelter. We also work with Barrister Jao. Her outfits have also been very, very useful to us. If there must be litigation, Barrister Jao helps the shelter. And FIDA too. These are people who rally around us for our cases. And we do our best to see how we can amicably resolve violence issues without the victim being re-traumatized, without the survivor feeling cheated. So we try to merge our activism with mediation.
Wow, interesting. I mean, that also brings me to a memory. We had a mediation session. This couple, they've been married for 10 years, and I think they got to a point where tensions were high. The wife just needed a divorce. She just wanted a separation. The husband needed custody of the children, and that was serious. And someone referred them to alternative dispute resolution. Wow, lovely. Lastly, Professor, what role do community leaders and religious institutions play in encouraging mediation for domestic conflicts?
Enormous. And I can assure you, even our shelter and the multi-door court enjoys the pattern of a number of traditional and religious leaders. These persons have proven that ADR is the best.
Wow.
The only thing we plead is that they should not misinterpret religious powers to allow injustice to prevail. They should not use their religious powers to cover up for cases of GBV.
Wow. Professor Hauwa'u Evelyn Yusuf, Professor of Criminology and Gender Studies, Special Advisor to the Vice-Chancellor on Research and Culture. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.